Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season. And it's that time of year where we really start looking ahead to 2025 with the Super League fixtures. Kevin,
Yes,
were you eagerly anticipating them?
yes. I was eagerly anticipating playing everyone at least twice, somebody three times, get people in the cup, playoffs, friendlies, whatever, doesn't matter. I think the main thing, obviously, is Cattle have people look for that away. But yeah, it's they don't stress me out as much as they stress other people out.
No. So let's get into it. I'm just flicking the screen back to where it should be.
Pad for time, pad for time.
But first of all, it is a 2026 Australia Academy Tour Forum with the coaching team, Kevin, coming up um, Friday, the 6th of December. So a week on Friday.
Yep.
A chance to grill the new boys and have a sit down with Mr. Wellens.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be a very, very intriguing one. I think it's a perfect opportunity to, as you say, have a chat and hopefully ask some questions of the new boys, of Mr. Wellens as well. Kind of get a steer on how we're going to try and change things in 2025. And I think it'll be a great evening.
Yeah, Friday, 6th of December. It starts at 7:30 p.m. It's at Greenall Social Club on Alderhay Road in Eccleston. Tickets are £20 a head. This includes supper, and you can purchase them via the usual routes, which is Dave Howarth.
Yeah.
Telephone 07908 646 569, or you can email him on davehowarth51@gmail.com. I will pop it in the comments below, and I'll pop it on our social media as well. But these tickets are going to go quickly. It's a smaller venue, little bit more intimate. If you would like to spend a Friday night with Eamon, Paul, and Lee,
Yes. Very good.
I'm on a Christmas night out in Liverpool, so I won't be there. But
Fair enough.
tickets will fly out even quicker.
Yeah, they will. Yeah. I might go.
Right then, 2025 fixtures. Are we in Challenge Cup round 3?
Yes. Yeah, we come into it earlier this year. So I think I can almost see that
9th of Feb.
potentially being used as a. It's dodgy to use it as a complete pre-season game as your first hit out for some of the senior lads. But you can almost imagine that the season will be geared to that being your still going to run people, and they might only do 60 minutes if they're coming back off injuries. And obviously it depends who you get in that draw.
I was going to say, like, it seems a little bit odd having that weekend, the first weekend second weekend in Feb before the season starts, when they're trying to promote the 2025 Super League season as the big kickoff, and then all of a sudden it could be Saints Wigan the week before.
Can it? Is that what's happening? Can you? Is it an open draw?
Oh,
It's not a seeded draw.
don't ask us questions like that. Or did
Well,
they change it?
I don't know. I feel like this is a proper sparkling start to this episode, though, David.
It's brilliant. Well, I can inform you, Kev, because I have got Google in front of me, that the draws for the first and second round of the Challenge Cups actually take place next Monday.
Okay.
That's first announced back in June. The game's oldest cup competition will take on a new format in 2025, with Super League clubs entering 3 rounds earlier than they did in 2024. Joining in round 3 and guaranteed to be playing away from home in the third round, the top 12 flight clubs will essentially join the competition at the last 32 as opposed to the last 16. Super League clubs will now join the 20 winners of the ties in round two, which could be a mixture of teams from the Championship, League One, and the Community Game.
Can I just say, if you've got to go somewhere away from home, like we'll say a Batley away from home at the beginning of February, that's it. With all due respect to Batley, that's an absolute stinker of a tie for your players. Fans will love it. Fans would absolutely love that. Going somewhere that you've not been for years, tremendous stuff. But I can imagine that the players will be looking at some of the fixtures coming out thinking, no, I don't fancy that.
Batterweave versus St Helens.
Well, that'll be fine. That'd be fine. But I'm
How many,
thinking more
how many,
like,
do you know, have you ever seen them like a thing where like how many fans can you cram in a mini?
yeah,
How many Saints fans and Battery fans can you cram in the clubhouse?
yeah. Get loads in. Just get them beer trucks that come down. You'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Um, so come round two later in the month, the winners of the 16 first round ties will be joining the competition by the UK-based teams from the Championship and League One. From the second and third tiers, only French outfit Toulouse Olympic will not be taking part, as been in the case over the last few years. We come in the weekend of of February the 8th and 9th, and this draw is going to take place in mid-February. So you can't even tailor your pre-season to it because you could end up with a really tough draw, couldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, you absolutely could. It could be. It could be a tough one. I almost think that some teams will try and tailor it. Whether they say that publicly or not is another matter. But if you've got someone away from home who is championship, it's going to be, as you say, a potential banana skin.
I have absolutely plagiarized the words of Ben Olawumi of loverugbyleague.com there, by the way. See, we're not like some of these dodgy journos who just nit people's stories. We give full credit.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ben. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'd have read it in the style of your voice, but I've never met you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Introduce yourself for stealing your
You should
work.
you just done it in Aaron's voice then instead, but you'd need one of them caps that like sits like this on your head as well.
And like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Right. Okay. So Challenge Cup comes up first. Then we get a home game. We open up the season on a Saturday, 5:30. Um, have Super League ruined things by trying to spread the games across the weekend to satisfy armchair fans at the expense of the fans who actually go the game?
Arguably, yes. I actually had a little look through social media when the fixtures came out for people who kind of go to different sports as well or have different commitments. So it might not necessarily be they go watching Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Everton, whoever. It might be that they've just got another commitment and the game being on a Friday night works well. I think we're quite lucky because we're not really thrown about as much as we could be for a Friday, especially for home games on a Friday. Got your odd Thursday one like Catalan there as well, the odd weekend one that people always clamour for. But I can't help but think it is obviously at the detriment of the match going fan. I know people will say, well, if you want to be there, you'll be there. But you look at the likes of yourself, who's got 2 season tickets. You look at quite a few of our friends who have got tickets or go to games of other clubs in other sports. I get why people say, oh, there shouldn't be so many games on at the same time. But the clubs have got to balance making the money by and getting the handouts from Sky and making the money from the corporates and making the money from match going fans and making the money from walk ups and people going in the club shop, people buying pints, hot dogs, pies, whatever. I don't expect it to dent us all too much. And I like the fact that everything is kind of nailed in. And I hope that this stays as it is, that this is we're not going to change too many. And there's only the CAS game round 27 where the kickoff hasn't been confirmed. Hopefully it stays like this, because at least then they've taken out that one issue of the jeopardy of who's going to get changed here.
Yeah, I suppose when you look at it from a home game perspective, I think there's 8 Friday nights. I think there's a couple of Thursdays, a couple of Sundays, and a Saturday. So we've done all right in terms of home fixtures. But you're right. The way the season's set up, if you've got a season ticket for a football club, which, listen, I've got an Everton one, but in the Northwest, you've got Everton, Liverpool, City, United, Wigan Athletic, Bolton Wanderers, all on your doorstep. That fixture list has come out, and straight away, if you've already got a ticket for a football match, you think, well, I'm not going to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I've already got a commitment, which I've paid for.
Yeah.
And I don't get this playing games on a Saturday afternoon, really, because they just get lost in the sporting landscape. So if you're looking to create engagement, what's the chances of seeing a match report from a Super League game in a paper on a Sunday when they've got all the football fixtures to
Yeah.
cover?
Yeah. It just, listen, I think it's going to be a bit of trial and error, and over the next couple of seasons we'll see it kind of settle down. But I was just having a quick look. I've just searched Man United there to start off with, just for their fixtures. Just because I looked at the Salford one, Saturday, 15th of February. They're away at Tottenham that day, so there's no clash there. But it's the first thing I thought of. Salford, are their fans going to travel for a 5:30 kickoff if that Man United game gets changed to the late kickoff on Sky against Tottenham? Or are they going to watch Man United if you're a season ticket holder for both? I don't know the answer to that. I genuinely don't. But people have got a decision to make. And do they say, well, I'm going to pay the 25 quid for a away ticket at Saints. I'm going to pay for petrol. I'm going to pay for a coach. I'm going to pay for food out. Or I'm going to just go down to my local and watch the football. And it costs me about 25 quid for a couple of pints, and then I'll go home and get a takeaway on the way home. Balancing, isn't it?
I was talking to a gent fella last night, and he was saying it's just for him. It's ruined the away support for him and the two kids. Coach, travel, drinks. You're looking at the best part of 100 quid. Whereas now he can come home after work on a Friday, have his tea, nip the pub, sit there,
Yeah.
have 4 or 5 pints, spend 20 quid, come home, seen the
And
game.
I think it's right to kind of mention that we're not saying that away fans are going to dwindle and that's a problem for clubs. Absolutely not. That's not the issue. It's just getting bums in on seats. This isn't an away fan thing. This is an all fan thing. You look through and you think, like, Salford have got Manchester clubs that people will be season ticket holders for. You look at Hull, got the football. Yeah, they're not going to clash, are they? But you never know if someone's going to travel to an away game. They get a coach full who go to an away game that takes it off your gate. You look at Cass and Wakey, you're looking Leeds, aren't you? Same as Leeds Rhinos. Huddersfield, again, you've got all that Yorkshire mix where you might have someone who lives in Huddersfield, so goes to the Huddersfield game, but he's a Leeds United fan. They're not really tied to Leeds Rhinos. They just go, you know what I mean? They could go to anywhere. They could come from a little village outside and have been drawn to Huddersfield, but support Leeds in the football. I don't know.
It,
I
it
just feel, I don't know if I'm just picking on specific things, or if me worries are founded.
yeah, I'm just being moany McMoan face. Uh,
Again,
again, surprise, surprise. So in the NFL in America, every game is televised, but in the local market, so say if you're in Denver, the game will only be shown on the local TV channels if the game is a sellout.
right? Okay.
And obviously, I know that you can't implement that in the UK because we just have national TV channels essentially. But could you put a system in place where the game's not televised at all unless it meets a minimum attendance set of sales?
No, I don't think we're big enough for that.
But I don't. I would argue
I,
the
I,
game. I would argue the game isn't big enough for every game to be televised either.
it probably fair enough. I don't think we're big enough to start making decisions on when we're going to be. We when we're going to be on telly based on ticket sales. I don't think we're in that thing, because otherwise, what games would be on telly? Which of them games would be on telly? Saints Wigan?
I think you'd have your two main games, and for your other, which are on television regardless, and then you'd get what you had over the years, and then for your other fixtures, it would be if a club has sold 60% of the capacity of their stadium. If that's what Huddersfield would never be on.
But when do you make that call then?
Yeah,
When
the
do you make that
logistics of
call?
it, I'm not sure work. I don't know. Personally,
I
I
don't.
don't think every game should be on the TV. I think it dilutes things because unless you're an absolute nerd who wants to watch every game, chances are you're only going to use that service to generally make sure that you watch your club at the expense of actually going.
Yeah. And I know that like you stand with people and they kind of record games and watch them back. That's fair enough. You do get them. I call them students of the game rather than nerds. But you do get them people who will do that and are upset when the score's given out over the tabloid at the end.
But it's
Oh,
mad. Do
close
you know
one
what?
anyway
Like,
tonight.
if I was like, if I wasn't at a Saints game and I couldn't be there and I found out Saints had won 2016, I wouldn't go home and watch the 80 minutes. I'd flick
That,
through,
that,
maybe watch the tries or watch the
that's
3 minute roundup.
but some people will. Some people like it. Some
Yeah,
people
it's
want to see
it's
what's
like
happening.
I go to watch Everton. I don't watch match of the day at all.
I wouldn't if I was an Everton fan, to be fair.
Partly because I'm not staying up to watch us last when we've drew 0-0 again.
Against 10 man, against a 10
But
man
yeah.
team.
Anyway, right, we've moaned. Let's have another moan. What can we moan about? Right, in terms of fixtures, that's a nice opening 3 games.
Potentially, I mean, Salford did have a bit of a hex on us last year. Um, you'd kind of back us being at home, and probably when we played them early season this year, 2024, it was the red card that didn't decide the game. It's wrong because it makes it sound like it's the ref's decision that's caused that, and it's not. It was the rules at the time, which meant that it ended up being a red card. Um, but yeah, the first 3 games there, you'd be looking at and thinking, I know Cass can be a tough place to go at times. I know Wakey can be a tough place to go, but you'd be hoping that you're picking up 6 points from them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
With
Um,
nothing guaranteed, by the way, but you'd be hoping that that's what you get.
Quirks of the fixture list. We play Salford four
Yeah,
times before round 16. Is that right?
that's because we play him in a friendly as well, though. So
Yeah.
I'm not, unless we might get him in the cup as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Good do. Five. We can have them 5 times before round 16. Salford 4 times. Wakefield twice in the first 7 rounds, and Warrington twice in the first 9 rounds.
And Salford, we literally are best friends with them when we play them in round 14 and round 16, don't we?
So it's like, who designed the fixture list?
I think what happens is because you've got clubs who are at the behest of football teams. So you've got your teams who can't kind of don't run their own
Yeah.
stadium. They've got to ask for certain fixtures. So I think there's one. Huddersfield can't play at their ground. They've got a home game. Huddersfield can't play at their ground because the Stereophonics are there, and they're scared of getting beaten by the Stereophonics. I think it is. And Warrington have asked for a month where they're doing stadium upgrades and having a pitch laid, I think. So they've got a month away from home. Pretty much what we did last year when we had our pitch laid. So I just think you've always got that fight against the other clubs, which is rather apt considering that's what we're talking about with the fixtures and what clubs actually need and desire. Obviously, with us having like the rivals round on Good Friday as well, you know that one's set in stone. You're not going to have that in round 4 and then, as you see, round 25 as it is this time.
Yes. Wigan away on Good Friday as well. Hallelujah.
It
Um,
ain't.
6 of the last 9 at home as well.
Yeah, another you'd say tough one there, Lee. Again, another club with the hex over us last season towards the end of the year. So hopefully we're in a bit of form rather than when we went to the and got absolutely banjoed. I know we give a better showing of ourselves second time round, but yeah, away at Lee, away at Hull KR in the last 4 rounds, not the easiest.
There's a couple of really, well, potentially horrible runs there as well. You've got Wigan away, Warrington away in April, followed by Magic, which will be a bye against Leeds. Um, then you've potentially got a Challenge Cup semi-final, then Catalan.
Can you stop saying that with the Magic weekend being a bye?
Oh, it's a
Because
bye. Leeds. If you could play anyone at Magic this time round, you'd probably want Leeds.
and
Clip it.
clip me going, stop saying it.
Obviously Magic
No,
retains
I'm
Newcastle.
saying that. I'm saying that because last time I had to do the Magic weekend instant reaction and we'd been beaten 20-0 by Wigan.
Well, that's good because I'm not at Magic either because Everton are playing.
Exactly. So it'd be me that gets the pelters for stuff you're saying. Anyway, what's the other bad run
Listen,
that
I
you
know I'm saying this time round, but obviously with Everton leaving Goodison at the end
Yeah.
of in May, I'm not missing any opportunities to get there for the final few times in my life.
What
Uh,
you've got to hope for is you and Ipswich still in that relegation battle and it gets moved so you can come up to Magic Weekend.
yeah, we could be dead and buried by then.
Could be. Could be
Ipswich
best
might be
in.
safe. Um,
Could be in the championship.
yeah, even Saturday the 22nd of Feb, Castle away at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, and Everton are due to play Man United at 3 on the Saturday. I need that game to be moved and not to half 5.
Yeah. Yes, same.
Um, your coach Miles might be getting
It
added
might
to
be hotline to Howard.
hotline to Haworth. Just wait till he's sold them forum tickets.
Yeah.
All in all, it's a fixture list. Just
Yep.
depends when our injuries strike.
Don't say that. We're going to be better this year. We're going to be all right.
On the plus side, if we do need points from our final game, Cass at home is probably the one you'd want.
Yeah, after what was the score when we played them at home this year, when it was the worst game that we've ever seen, the worst Saints performance potentially of the year, or one of many that you could pick out, and they beat us because we were absolutely turgid.
Can't happen twice.
Yes, it can.
Clip it. Right. That is the fixtures and the moans done and dusted. We will be back tomorrow and we'll round up the rest of the news over the last week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to stop this recording and we're going to film again. Shh. Don't end the meeting.